Hi, and thanks for stopping by. My goal with this channel is to make a series of short videos, each one focusing on some aspect of oil painting. I want to keep them easy to digest and easy to use. So if you like what you see, please subscribe. I really appreciate the support. Today I'm going to paint this little cactus. I'm really attracted to the reflected light in that plastic vase. I also like the contrast between the organic shapes of the cactus and the blocky shape of the vase. I'll be using cadmium red light, cadmium lemon yellow, cobalt blue, titanium white, and some Gamblin flake white replacement. I start by mixing a little bit of mineral spirits with some cad red light, and I block in the big shapes. I want this to be about the consistency of ink so it's not too runny. I usually start with the vertical line so I can judge all of my other angles against this. While this is drying, I start mixing my colors. For the dark tones in the plastic vase, I start with a very dark blue-green and then add a little bit of cad red to it to dull it down. I then add white to this mixture to make several lighter values. As I lighten the value, I also add a little bit more yellow and red to warm up the mixture as I move down. For the cactus, I mix up some green with my cobalt blue and cad yellow. I then immediately mix up some medium orange. I'm going to use the orange as the warm base for my neutral background color. I'm also going to use it to warm up the greens in my cactus. Once I get done mixing the cactus colors, I add some white to the orange and then some cobalt blue to dull it down a little bit. I want it to be nice and neutral for the background color. For me, mixing these colors isn't really an exact science. I rarely get the color right on my first pass. I usually have to go back and forth several times, warming things up, cooling things down, making them lighter, making them darker. It usually works out okay because I generally need a little bit more volume anyway. Once I have my background and foreground colors mixed, I use a little bit of my original dark color and add it to the orange to make a cast shadow color. The next color I need to create is the bright gold of the cactus spines. I make a couple of different versions of this with some yellow, white, and a little bit of my mixed orange. I then use my razor blade to clean up some parts of my palette just in case I need some clean areas to mix any new colors on. Now it's just a matter of putting the colors where they go. I start with the darkest darks in that plastic vase and work my way through the lighter values. I like to pre-mix my colors because it allows me to be pretty free when I start painting. I don't have to stop or pause to mix up a new color. I can just sort of keep my stream of consciousness going. I'm never going to be able to mix every single color I need, but I am going to have the basic building blocks to construct whatever color I encounter in the painting. I also know that my colors are going to usually need a little bit of adjustment. Once I get them in context, they'll often look a little bit different than how I intended. For this reason, I think it's pretty important to establish some background fairly early in the painting process. That way I can compare the colors in my subject to the color that they're actually going to be surrounded by instead of the white of my panel. It took a bit of practice to get used to pre-mixing colors, but I found it to be really worthwhile in the end. Being able to paint more efficiently allows my painting to keep up with what I'm thinking about when I'm observing an object. I use my palette knife to get the rest of my background covered. I don't want any of that white panel showing through when I start doing the light cactus spines. I don't really want to overthink where these spines are. I just want to get light spots where the light spots go, but I'm not being too specific. I just want to kind of catch the general rhythm of them moving across the surface of the cactus. Once I get all those little spots for the spines in place, I move on to making a few adjustments to the values in my container. Some areas are a little bit darker and a little bit warmer. I use a palette knife so I can get those mechanical edges nice and straight. Sometimes on small studies, I like to make notes on what colors I use to put the painting together. So I use my palette knife and add those to the top of the painting. Then it's just a matter of signing and dating the piece, and I call it a day.